Welcome to the 293 Code Podcast. Today's episode is starting over.
That's a good topic. So
I think it is too.
I think for starting over, we all got our own pathway of how we had to start over. So it's just like you got to ask yourself, what do starting over look like for you, especially from the mental aspect? Charity?
For me?
Yeah.
I don't start it from the ground up, and that's what starting over for me means.
For me, starting over was being somebody that I had to take the shield off to become vulnerable around people that I knew was going to have uncomfortable issues of who I was becoming once I allowed myself to be vulnerable, and starting over for everybody to see me for who I was, not for what I could give.
Kelsey is here. We're going to talk about starting over. Okay. Kelsey.
Hi guys. So starting over for me it looks like rebuilding from scratch, but rebuilding from the inside out instead of outside in.
Explain.
So most of the time when you rebuild from the outside, everything is taken away. You start from scratch.
Right.
So on the inside, it's like you wiping away what you learned, what you thought you knew, and who you thought you really were. And digging down deeper to figure out who you really are, what you really know, what you believe to be true, and who do you want to be.
Exactly. So do you look at starting over becoming a way where it's just like you're not erasing you, but you creating your own identity without being programmed from what you learned early on?
Mm-hmm. But it's kind of like a erasure. Like you want to erase so you can become 2.0.
Okay, explain that.
Yeah.
Because we get things instilled in us as we're growing up from our environment, from our parents, saying this is how it's supposed to be.
Right.
This is what you're supposed to do this. But when you take the time and you erase all of that, you can create your own system to tell yourself, this is how I want to do it and this is how I can do it versus what somebody taught me how to be or the way that they know how to do it.
Right.
So that's what I mean. Kind of like erasing that aspect of it and coming up with your own ideas on how your life should look and how you maneuver to get there.
Exactly. I can understand that point. Because that's how I feel like I had to do. I had to take away, everything and start over to where it was like a blank canvas.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing for me was it was really hard because my life was built around accolade and, family and friends and people that I knew already having me at a high standard, a standard that I didn't even want to be at. I wanted to just stay and be that shy kid. But then it's just like also when you come from a family where it's built off of, faith, religion, family name, and what your ancestors built.
That's so
to
true.
start, you thinking they would look at it like our family generation. This is the core that our ancestors built, and we supposed to carry that on.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody ever looked at you as the individual and what you want to do and who you want to be. And so they looking at like, hey, we're protecting you. So this is what you need to become to survive in a society that really don't accept you for who you are. So we kind of get lost in that cycle. And once we become to adulthood, it's one of those things of just like getting out into the world. And it is really like trying to figure it out and start over because you no longer got somebody telling you what you have to do. We never had choices.
You're absolutely right. You didn't have choices.
But it's so instilled in you that a lot of people are afraid to erase that. Because
Exactly.
It's been so instilled. Like we carry generations on our back that don't even belong to us.
You right.
And people just think that's the norm and we're supposed to keep going. And somebody mentions, but what do you really think? How do you really feel? They don't know. They too afraid to even look at it because it's different from what we was taught, what we supposed to carry.
And one of the things that you're saying is so true because like even when they make movies from back then and past times, right, saying more about our history and like even with just other shows and other cultures or whatever, it's one of those things where it's like when you would ask the elderly of the family, the eldest. Well, why do we have to do that? Or you question certain things. 9 times out of 10, they don't even really have an answer. It's just like, you have to. We got to. It is what it is. And it's like, but that's not really a real reason.
Because they don't know themselves.
Exactly.
It's been taught to them just because we have to. So, like back then, like my grandma's era, I mean, they were taught that too, right? But they were taught to survive. So it's about survival. Don't ask any questions.
Yeah.
Just do, right? Because we have to survive. It's all about surviving and getting through and to see the next day. So
Right.
I think it was a little bit different. The same with us. It's passed out. Like you said, generation after generation after generation. Like we have to. And I think more than ever, you know, some of us do want to let go, right?
Right.
But we're seeing what's going on. And I'm just going to be honest with you. We're seeing what's going on in America. That makes a lot of us pull back. Like, and I just ain't a good time to let go, right?
Yeah.
But it's never going to be a good time. It's always something going on. I feel like if we get over the fact that it's not a good time and a lot of people be afraid to challenge the generations, I think we could come out better. Like it'd be like, I wouldn't say throw the whole history away, but it's time to create something new. We so powerful, but we so fearful.
That's, and you know what? The reason why it is so fearful now, because, you know, you think about it, it comes back to the trust factor. Who can you trust? Who can you put your faith in? Because people don't really understand the real meaning of loyalty anymore. You know, your word is your bond. And people now break that and just be thinking like, well, oh, well, you know, you will get over it type of mentality, because people are out for themselves. They're not out saying, well, hey, we're going to stick together. I got you. You got me. That was part of back in the older generations where your word was your bond. You know what I'm saying? You had to rely on each other. But nowadays, you can't rely on anybody but yourself, because rejection, just like we talked about earlier in our last podcast, rejection is real, you know, but trust is also real. You know, people will sit there and look at you in your face and want you to agree upon what they're doing when they know they may stab you in the back. And so, you know, starting over, it happens so much. And, you know, one thing, like you thinking about it, when we used to look at it growing up, starting over used to be looked at as a form of failure.
Yeah.
And, you know, that was one thing that we had to fight against too. It's just like, man, everybody going to see that I had to start over and everything. And everybody get to talking about it. Yeah, the such had to start over and this and that. And so like we tried to hide that part, and see that also affected us in a way to where we was trying to still become who we wanted to be, but also we had to cater to what everybody else wanted us to be. You know what I'm saying? So it's two different ways you can look at it. Now, when I break it down in the mental health aspect, I was in and out, the psych ward and, you know, the hospital ward. You know, they totally two different things. Every time I came out of the hospital, I was starting over. But the thing that I had to learn, though, and I'm still reflecting on, is ways of how I started over. Every time I was in there and every time I came out, I had to let go of a piece. And I had to learn how to be comfortable with what I wanted to do. And I'm still learning that process, because, first of all, when you have mental health issues, there alone comes the stigma. You know what I'm saying? But then starting over, because when you behind those walls, there's a part of you that get that self-confidence and that self-acknowledgement of like, hey, I can do this, even though I got these struggles, I got people that got my back. But once you get by, you know, on the other side of those walls, out into society, then you got to question who really has my back. Because see, when I was in there in the hospital, everybody bonded. We could understand each other. We speak in the same language. There's no judgment. You know, we ain't here motivating each other to be like, you got this. Hey, Here's my phone number. Here's my phone number, because we know the struggle is real.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you get back into the environment where it's toxic and people questioning, well, you should be doing this, you should be doing that, or whatever, and you see that the loyalty and the support is not fully there as you got before, then you question your mind psychologically, like, man, like, is it even worth starting over? You know what I'm saying? Because it's one of those things where it's like your mental play, mind games with you. Starting over every day is a start over, period.
Mm-hmm.
Every week is a start over, because it's like, but people don't look at it because sometimes they try to generalize just what diagnoses you may have because they want to compare, and I told that word up. But you know what I'm saying? It's one of those things they want to compare and you can't. But in the mental world, starting over is an everyday thing.
That's true. But we never start over from scratch. Even in the mental health world, when you start over the next day, it's not from the beginning. You still have a little piece of information from the day before.
That is true. But for some of us, starting over it's so draining. Because, there's days where the depression hit and you just be like, man, why am I doing this?
Mm-hmm.
Them lows come, they come. But then it's just like at the same time, I feel like you have to surround yourself around people that's going to keep you motivated and accept your downfalls.
That part.
Accept, when you're like, hey, I can't do this no longer.
Mm-hmm.
Have that listening ear.
Mm-hmm.
Not trying to fix you, but they can give you support in a way. Just their presence is all that matters. And I think people really need to understand that, because the starting over is real and it affects people in so many different ways that they don't realize. It's not like starting over where you about to move to a new place or a new city or a new state. Mm-hmm. In your head, you literally starting over every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever life throws at you, on top of you struggling with yourself, the struggle is real. It's real. And I think sometimes people overlook that, because it's just like, we all heard that phase, like, you look good, you feel good,
Yeah, that's true.
And coming from the South, we was never allowed to go outside looking raggedy or rough. Because, it was already instilled in us, hey, even if you go into the grocery store, you look presentable. You never know who you're going to see. And then playing sports, it was the same aspect. When you go into a job, when you go into church, you always had to dress to impress. And sometimes, looking now as an adult, I agree with it, but I also have a problem with it. And I'm going to tell you the reason why. Mm-hmm. As I gotten older, I just want to dress to be comfortable. Who am I impressing? And the reason why I look at it like that is because I had to do a lot of impressing, college, playing on the professional level. I don't know none of these people. What am I impressing them for? For you guys to get a paycheck? It's helping the organization, but how is it helping me? I'm the one that's struggling mentally, but nobody want to hear that. But you getting your bread, I'm not getting mine. You see what I'm saying? So that's why I have a problem with it. But now as I've gotten older, it's one of those things where it's like, I'm not here to impress anybody. I'm going to do now what makes me happy. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing. So starting over, for me, it looks different every day. Because every day when I wake up, I'm just kind of like, okay, how am I feeling? I have to do a check-in with myself. Because I can no longer ignore my emotions in order to fit somebody else's comfortability. And that's a tough lesson to learn, because people are going to challenge you every day. They're going to get on your nerves. They're going to agitate you. They're going to make you want to choke the shit out their ass. But in the process, you can't do it. You have to reflect and you have to think of ways to be like, you know what? I'm going to get through today. So starting over for all three of us is going to look different every single day.
But it's the fact that we're doing it.
We are doing it.
More people need to know it's okay to do it.
They get up every day. Mm-hmm. When you get older too, I don't have the same pressure or the same presenting myself like that.
Right. Because you know what? You done done that.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, when you get up in the mornings, it should be like, okay, what I'm going to do today? You know what? And it shouldn't be under pressure or, making somebody else day better than yours. Yeah. You hear a lot of people that be like, hey, I don't like my job. I don't like going to work. I don't like being around people, and we all have that in aspects, whether it's work, away from work, at fun activities, family members. We all have it in every aspect, you know what I'm saying? But then I guess the question is, too, it's just like, how are we authentically going to make it better for us? And sometimes we forget that because we try so hard to please everybody else, you know?
True.
So the goal is of like starting over is one of those things where like we wasn't taught at a young kid, you know. It wasn't until we kind of got older, like for me, that it was okay not to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I pushed stuff down. I was just like, I'm good.
Because it's a performance. It's a
Yeah.
It's a we were taught to take care,
Mm-hmm.
do for,
Mm-hmm.
keep doing,
Yep.
but don't stop to figure out how you feel.
Yep.
What is it that you want to do?
And you know, you seen the older generation, that's what they'd be like, you know, pray about it, but they also wouldn't show signs of it. They're just like, you know, I just gonna pray about it and leave it in God's hand, and they going about their business. And then we be in church till 1 o'clock, you know, where you hungry and everybody else out of church. So you sitting there, you thinking about it like, as a kid, you know, you got questions. Like, man, we been here since 8 o'clock this morning, we done had Sunday school, we done did all this stuff, you know, and you thinking about like, what is getting resolved? Nothing.
Sweeping it under the rug.
Right.
For the next time.
Protecting your emotions. Because if you was going to start over, you know, people's looking like, oh, you're going to start over a new job because you're making more money. Not starting over because you're trying to find your happiness. Because we was never taught about happiness.
It's all about what you can gain.
Yeah. What you can gain.
The next, and it's time for us to come out of survival mode.
Right. And you know what? We was put into it and it wasn't fair to us.
Right. Generations on our back.
That's easier said than done, though.
It is now because we're older, because we've been programmed ever since we was a little kid.
But you also got to fight to get out of survival mode. You got to fight for it. You got to fight for it.
Yeah, you do. You really do. It's hard.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we older now. We're not that old, but we're older now to where we looking at things in a different light. But look at what we had to go through individually to understand where we at now. And sometimes we have to reteach our parents to look at things totally different.
Yeah, that's absolutely right.
You know what I'm saying? And they starting to see where we coming from. And then they reflect on their life on what they went through. And they, you know, like me and my mom, we have conversations all the time. And like, you know, I let her see things in a different light to where like when we have these conversations, she talk about things that she wish she would have done differently. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's a cycle that need to be broken.
Yes.
Now, the cycle that I don't understand is just where you got this new generation where they just think, like you said, we said in the previous podcast, where you thinking giving your child everything, not teaching them values and stuff, you getting it confused. Because when you're doing that as an adult and as a parent, then that's something within inside you need to work out with your inner child or with whomever. You know what I'm saying? It's like a child still have to have a structure.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I'm not saying you can't buy your child whatever they want, but you know what? Let them earn it. Just because a child is a good child, I need something a little bit more than that. You know what I'm saying? A child can be a good kid. They can be respectful. They can be mannerable and stuff like that. But like other aspects that, you know, you may overlook, you know, if you want your child to be a decent human being, because nobody's going to be perfect, you can't just have that child reflect on, well, I've been good, so I know I'm going to get it eventually, whatever. What did you do to earn it? What did you do to work for it? Because then that child's going to have a hard time when it's coming for them in their life when they become an older adult to know how to start over.
Well, they learn how to manipulate, though. If you're giving the child only things when they're good or when they get good grades, they're going to learn how to manipulate a situation.
Yeah.
So you're pretty much teaching them bad behavior. Performance.
Yeah.
So only if I perform, you know, then I'll get this. So even if you say your kid gets into a relationship as an adult, you know, and they happen to try to maneuver or communicate when times are not good, right? They're going to do a performance. Well, if I act this way, then I know I'm probably going to get something in return, right? So let me just keep this on for 2 days, and then I'll just go back to my normal self.
Yeah, because you know what? That child already know. They're not trying to start over.
Mhm.
They may have seen their parents start over to get them what they want, but they be like, nah, I ain't starting over.
They don't feel like they don't have to.
Right.
That's absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Why should they? What do they have to work for?
Well, just like, prime example too, when we look at relationship aspect, right?
Mm-hmm.
You get some people that be together and they know they're not compatible,
Mm-hmm.
but neither one of them want to start over, so they just stick it out.
Mm-hmm.
They be like, well, I don't want to start over, because it's just hard out there. Well, it's hard for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But you gotta find the good within yourself on why, like, hey, starting over, whether you gotta move, whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna look this way for a minute, but it don't have to be for the rest of your life.
Well, I can tell you, I reassure you.
And what?
It's not a lot of picking out there.
It's not, but you know what? It's not a lot of picking out there, but sometimes, when you sit there and you process it, I think that some people the reason why they really don't want to start over is because they don't want to sit with themselves and reflect on what they did wrong as a person.
Mhm.
Because sometimes people always, deflect and put it all on the other person and be like, well, they did me like this and they did me like that. But when you look at it as a picture, like what went wrong as a whole without rowing the boat where it's going back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
What did you do? What went wrong as a whole? Sometimes people don't want to sit with that because you know what? They're a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely.
And with that being, what you're saying that's why a lot of people don't start over, because when you start over, you do have to take that time to figure out, why are you starting over? What did you contribute to the situation?
Right.
And a lot of people are afraid to look at themselves. So they just say, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to continue to do whatever I've been doing.
Yeah, they don't like to feel uncomfortable. Like we always say in the podcast, in order to get comfortable, you have to feel uncomfortable.
That is so true.
To get to that point. But I've learned, especially at this age, there's a lot of our generation hate uncomfortability.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
They hate it. They prefer
to be stuck.
Yeah, to be stuck or status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they come out of it's a lot of questions in our generation.
Right.
What if? There's a lot of what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
So what if, or maybe, or this, or that. But our generation, we are the what ifs in status quo.
Now, you're absolutely right. And being uncomfortable is hard. And that's why you said before, that's why a lot of people don't want to start over.
Mm-hmm.
Some people stick out a job just because they don't want to start over.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll complain about that job every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And some people are like, well, why don't you look for a new job? Well, I've been here this long. I might as well just stick it out. What, until you die?
Right.
And, sometimes like we get repetitive in those things when you think about it. And then sometimes people don't want to be judged because they have moved on or want to try something different, even though they're happy.
Mm-hmm. Look at, has anyone in here ever started over and regretted starting over?
No.
Hold on, let me look at my thing.
Yeah, for me, no.
I mean,
No.
I think the way I think everything happens for a reason.
Yeah.
Before I used to be like, fuck, I regret this, but then you look at it, like everything happens.
Mm-hmm. And it always comes back full circle.
It does.
Yeah.
Well, I have a favorite saying, and Charity, you know what this saying is.
Sugar the shit.
Mm-hmm.
That too, but I have one word that is completely, and when I say I'm done, I'm done.
Oh, okay.
And so it's just like, I've went through the part of processing, and I'd be like, you know what? My main thing is that, like, if I can't find a purpose in that reasoning of why I'm staying,
Mm-hmm.
I got to go.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that's hard for a lot of people is because, like, people don't know what their purpose is,
Mm-hmm.
and you don't have to know what your purpose is, but you have to know your worth.
Mm-hmm.
That you do.
You have to know your worth, because I feel like once you know your worth, your purpose will eventually show up in the light of what is for you, and not what anybody else told you.
Right.
But finding your purpose is hard because it's a personal journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
It's reflecting, taking time to look at yourself.
And I mean, like, I don't know about y'all, but like, shit, I'm still trying to figure out what my purpose is. I've done a lot, right, in life, right? And it's been a roller coaster and stuff like that. But I really haven't found my purpose to where I know, like, hey, this is my purpose. Because, like, I think when I was younger, caring for others, I thought was my purpose. But as I seen, the older that I got, right, it didn't fit me. My clothes got too small.
Well, it came with that. It comes with, and I think, like Kelsey said, that's a generational thing.
Yeah.
Growing up, we, especially as Black female, we have a tendency to carry people's load, right? We'll carry people on our backs. We'll make sure that they're happy, but not us happy, right? And because we come from generation trauma and just trauma. And so we're trying to see the room and feel the room and make sure everybody's good. And then forget about that one person, which is you. And that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's okay to be selfish. It's okay to put yourself first. It's okay to put them other people down.
And you know what? It's so hard.
Right.
It is so hard to do, especially when you that person and like, I would never leave anybody hanging, right? Just like off the limb. But it's hard to do to put yourself first because you feel so guilty about it.
Yeah.
Until they eat you up so much, you be like, man, I got to make a decision. And sometimes we end up still putting other people in front of our own happiness.
Sure.
And like you said, it sucks because it goes back to how we was raised. It goes back to how we was raised because we was always brought up to believe that you still did, for others and that you would get rewarded in return when you least expect it. And I don't know who wrote that.
Well, it's because they say it's in the Bible, Buddhist.
Yeah.
It's a thing, but I think how people take it out of context. I really do. I think they just, they're like, well, if I do unto others, others would do unto me.
Right.
That's not always going to be the case.
I feel like that really applies to you first.
It does.
Because if you take care of you, you will get everything you need.
Exactly.
True. And that's why they probably said it. It was wrote backwards.
Yeah.
Well,
the whole world
they probably, when they went and saw the Bible and it was like, oh shit, to come at. It was like, oh, this piece is broken. I think it says, do unto others. There you go. That's what it says.
I got some questions about that.
Yeah.
No, I'm all rabbit hole.
Nah, you right though. But it's just, I don't know. I'll never regret anything in life. I have had a lot of regrets, but I think the regrets come from me wishing that I would have changed things when I was younger if I would have known and had the tools. But it also go about the environment you grew up in too. You know what I'm saying? When you in an environment where like, everybody around you are in denial about certain things. Because it's just like, hey, you got to abide by this rule, that's been instilled in everybody. As you get older, it makes you mad about certain things. And it makes you want to be different.
It does. It does. It really do. Like with the kids, I try to take what's good that I learned from my grandmother, right?
Right.
Which is a lot of things, like, coming together, community, how important that is. But also I take together, like I teach them like, hey, you got to care more about yourself. I always told the kids when they were small, before they go into the school, I used to say, you're going to respect yourself and you're going to love yourself first. And the rest will follow. Because if you don't love yourself or respect yourself, somebody's going to disrespect you.
Yeah.
It's going to say, I love you, but it's not really love. So you need to know what that is because you give to yourself, right? You respect yourself, you love yourself. So when somebody give you that in return, you know what that feels like.
No, you're absolutely right.
If they disrespect you, you know what that feels like, right? And like, I can tell you right now, Carmela, and Christian, they stand point. Like Christian, he believes he physically believes he got a lot of rights. That dude there,
Yes, he should.
but he'll tell somebody like, like I love myself and respect myself. Like if it gets to the point like some of his friends they were saying the N word, he cut them off. He said, I don't have to tolerate that. And I'm just like, shit, he doing better than I was. I'll talk to my friend and then I'm like, yeah,
But yeah.
When it's time for him to start over, he won't have no problem.
He won't have any problem. And I always tell him, I say, you know what? You got to do it for you. Like, even with school. Like, I can't, like, he got bullied, right? And I wanted to, be the parent to go beat this damn kid up. And then I have to take a step back and say, you're going to have to do it yourself. You're going to have to learn how to navigate this yourself. And deep down inside, I'm like, I'm kicking his kid's ass. But, I mean, he did. I mean, he tried. He went to the principal, and the kid felt like he didn't need to stop. So Christian said a couple words. I ain't gonna say what he said on that, but
right.
But I mean, it was enough to say the kid was like left him alone from there. But I mean, even with parenting, man, like starting over as a parent. Look, I didn't start over. I started at the first kid I had was 14, Mooch. And I started from teens and then down to babies. That was totally ass backwards. So that's kind of like starting over, but like it's that too, you have to kind of navigate and say, what kind of parent I want to be. I want to be, I want to be the best parent, but I also want to let the kids know, like, hey, I make mistakes too, and it's okay to make mistakes. So I'll the motherfuckers be calling me out too. Well, Poppy, remember when you didn't do that? I got it.
What they say, do as I say, not as I
do. Yeah.
See, look, them verbiages. See, they get you every time.
You gotta be careful. Because they'll use it on you. That's enough. That's enough.
Yeah, kids will test you too because like they're being brought up now to like freedom of speech.
And to question
everything.
Question what we didn't.
Yeah.
And they waiting for an answer.
Well, the difference is what we did and we knew we couldn't.
Yeah. That's true. That is true.
Because, you always get like, even when you wanted to ask questions, they would be like, fix your face.
Oh,
don't breathe too hard. What you breathing for? And you be like, dang. Right. So that's why our emotions all messed up because we couldn't do nothing.
Oh man, you can't even say, "Oh man,"
right?
What you don't see no man up in here?
Nah, for real. You be like, golly, don't be using God's name in vain. He ain't got nothing to do with this right now. You be like, yes, ma'am.
Oh, don't even poke out your lips. No power in.
Don't talk under your breath. Did you say something?
Yeah.
Don't slam the door.
So you be like this. Don't lie either.
No, I used to go to the bathroom. I had to use the bathroom, right? And just go in there and just be air punching. You know what I'm saying? But you had to make sure you didn't make no noise, though.
Something hit. What the? You better not be putting no holes in my wall.
Go outside, be kicking the dirt or whatever. You couldn't show no emotions because, like, nowadays they'll be like, well, you know what? If you need to go yell, scream, whatever, go outside. I don't want to see it. But we couldn't even do that, though. You had to just take it.
Yeah. But, kids nowadays, they do teach you a lot. I remember I used that, too. On my granddaughter, I dropped her off at daycare one time, and I went to go pick her up, and this little boy was crying, and I'm like, oh no. And then Carmela came over there, and she looks at him, and I was like, oh, she's feeling consoled. And she goes, what you crying for? Fix your face. And I said, at that point, I said, never again will I say that. So I always said, you know what? It's okay to express your emotions. It's okay to be angry. I say, you know what? If you angry, be angry. If you got something to say, do it in a way where it's respectful. People can hear you, right? And it's not disrespectful. Because as parents, as soon as you start getting disrespectful, what you say?
Who you talking to?
Who you talking
Yeah.
to? And so, I always tell the kids, and sometimes that falls off, and I have to correct their ass, like, what's up? But it is, starting over with kids is scary for me. It's just, especially now, it's like you don't know how they're going to grow up.
That's true.
I question myself. I used to question myself every day. Am I the right parent? Am I a good parent? Like, am I doing the right things? What's the right things? So these things, like, I think for me, it was very scary. And just starting over, just like, because I didn't want no kids. But when I got them, I knew, like, I have to step up.
Right.
I have to, but it's, people don't talk about that, starting over with kids, what that look like.
Well, you start over a lot, You start over a lot because every child is different.
Absolutely.
Every child is different. So you're not going to raise them all the same.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
No,
and so the thing of it is, it's a learning curve. And then it's like the same thing when you become a grandparent.
Yeah.
It's like
a new learning curve.
It's a new learning curve, but it's more of a fun learning curve and more lenient because you're the grandparent.
Wait, hold on a second.
Well, your situation different from mine.
Yeah, I missed that.
No, well, because what I'm saying is because it's like the guidance is different. As a grandparent, you know what I'm saying, you still show that guidance, but you're not parenting your grandkids.
That's true.
That's for the parents to do, And the thing of it is you still go along with the guidance of how the parents want to raise their kids, but you're there for guidance and fun. And what I mean by fun is the enjoyment and you creating those memories with your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? That's very important. Memories are very important in anything that we do.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's just like when we have to start over with whatever we do in life, we have to look at it as I'm creating something new. I'm creating something better. Because yesterday was yesterday. That's in the past. All we can do is lean forward. Because if you take steps backwards, you're never going to get to the finish line. You lean forward, you continue to grow, you continue to walk, you're not at a standstill, you're not feeling stuck. So those are the things and the patterns that we have to tell ourselves and for nobody else to tell us these things because you're your own person. If you got somebody that's having to motivate you every day, what is it teaching you? Nothing.
What happens when that person is not available?
Exactly. And then the thing of it is too, is you're not in control of yourself. You think about it. We sit here and we talked earlier about, everybody told us what to do. We didn't know our own identity. We didn't know what identity really was besides telling somebody what your name was. When somebody said, oh, what are some of the things that you like to do?
Yeah.
So most of the times you ain't got nothing to say. So you just going off what you don't heard from other people.
Or you saying what you do for other people.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when you really come from a family situation where there was a lot of trauma, your identity is portrayed as what you done saw on TV. So you create one, but it's not really you. That identity comes from what you would like your life to be. And a lot of people don't even think about it like that. But you know what? Once you start doing your self-work and you realize within yourself on what type of person that you want it to be, you got to sit there also and be like, okay, is that really me? This sounds nice and it looks good. But is this really me? Now, I'm not saying that you can't take parts of that and instill it in you. But it's like, if you're going to be true to yourself, that takes work and it takes time.
And actually, that's pretty hard too. When you start going through the layers and then figure out who you are as a person and what you like, then you start questioning yourself. I never knew myself.
Yep.
And like I told you, I had that in meditation when they asked me, who are you? And I couldn't answer the question at the time. And I was just like, I had to go home. And when I came home, I looked in the mirror and I couldn't figure it out. And I'm going to be honest with you, I cried.
Nothing wrong with that.
It was sad. It was just like, damn, who have I been all this time? And was I like, I'd be honest with you, I wasn't present majority of the time. Even when I was playing sports, I was playing sports, honestly, to get away, to deal with my emotions or not deal with my emotions, right? And then you come to find out, just like, what the fuck have I been doing? Like, who am I? Like I'm not present. Like, more now, I'm more present than anything.
Right.
But my younger days, I'm like, fuck, I can't tell you.
I had the same thing when I started my spiritual journey. I realized I didn't know who the fuck I was. And I just been out here just willy-dilly, willy-nilly. And it does make you cry because it's like you kind of wasted all this time.
Yeah.
Doing shit
that you shouldn't have been doing.
Yeah, or shit that didn't even register with you and who you really were. Now we in our 40s, 50s.
Wow.
Trying to figure out who we really are.
Yeah.
And starting over.
Yeah.
That's why I say you got to start with the inside.
Yeah. And
you really do.
And that's really hard to do. And like, you got to be really uncomfortable and be okay to sit there. Like, a lot of people can't sit alone. It's hard for me. It is. Like, being alone, like, I enjoy my alone time.
Me too.
I enjoy my alone time. I can sit there and not do nothing, right? Or I could sit there and, like, in my little king chair. Well, it's not little, pretty big, but sit there and drink my tea and think of nothingness. And I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I fucking love it. But then I think, I'm like, the fuck was I doing? I don't know.
And it's hard because you know what? When you get older and you starting to enjoy life at its fullest, and it's still a learning curve to do that, you think about, like, man, look at how much time, like you said before, how much time I've wasted. And it's sad.
It is sad.
Super sad.
Because not that we near death or anything, but it's kind of like that, though, because you're not getting younger. So, when you think about the time that you missed, it's sad. It really is. And I think that's really heartening because it's just like, man, if I knew what I knew now, my life would have been different. If I would have spoke up for myself, life would have been different.
I think the elders try to tell us, like my grandma, she would throw his hair in the hair, or my great aunts would say stuff. But when you're not present, you ain't fucking listening.
So ain't.
You ain't listening.
Well, you don't think that, you're getting older, but you be like, I ain't got time to hear that right now. I hear it when I get there, and then in a blink of an eye, you there. And you be like, where did the time go? Like, dang.
Yeah, you like, huh? You got one foot in the grave, the other foot on surgery tables.
Yeah. You half robotic at that point.
And it's like, what the fuck was I doing? Like, I can't, and that's why I try to spend as much time with the kids as possible.
Yeah.
I think we're going to go to China. Y'all there?
I'm there.
Oh, I'm going to go to China. I'm telling you right now. I also want to go to Japan, too.
Yeah, we can do that. Catch that bullet train.
Oh, from China to Japan? I'm down.
Yeah.
I'm always up for an experience because I feel like we need to start creating, doing things outside of our comfort zone as a new norm.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Traveling to new places, doing things that you never probably done before. It don't have to be like crazy or anything, but like just doing different stuff, restaurants, adventure parks, whatever. Just getting out and just seeing what's different from what you're used to.
And get out of the country.
Yeah.
Then you start learning stuff, about different cultures, and it's just an eye opener.
It really is. And if you ever get the opportunity to like go to another country and live, do it. Because I'm telling you, when I was in Europe and I was traveling all through Europe, I was more at peace, at fitting in society there than I am here in America. And that's sad to say when I'm born here. Because over there, people respect you, they mind their business, people are polite, and it's calm.
That was back then, though. At
But
that age.
It depends on where you go, though.
yeah, and I feel like it's still the same, and they kind of portray it different on TVs. So we don't go.
Yeah,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And
they do.
if you can't go out of state or to another country, move out of your hometown.
Oh, yeah.
Go to another. Just go. Get out of the hometown. Don't stay there or.
Because it becomes depressing when like you was brought up there, everybody that lived there, and they be like, well, this is all we know. Well, it don't have to be.
Exactly. Start over.
But see, that's the thing. People are scared to.
Mm-hmm. But be scared doing it.
Everything's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Shaking in your boots, but you walking towards the next step.
Well, it's like if you have a vision of something that you want to do, don't let nobody stop you. That's what it literally come down to.
You're absolutely right.
Mm-hmm.
It's like going to on the road and you stop at those what's it called?
Rest stop.
The rest stop.
Mm-hmm.
And then you gotta use the porta potties. And then when you go to use the porta potties, all you see is a hole.
Yeah, we ran into a couple of those on a couple of trips.
And then you go like, you know what? I gotta use the bathroom, so I'm gonna take the risk. Right? You don't know if it's gonna be a spider
or a snake. I be thinking about a snake gonna come out and just bite you.
A snake. That one time coming from Vegas. I won't say it online.
Yeah.
But I mean, everything's gonna be scary.
Yeah.
Just try it.
Yeah.
And then you figure out,
it wasn't even that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
Not at all.
Just like Charity with hiking. It's not that bad. Not at all.
Look.
Charity was going hiking.
Yeah. Look, I tried it. That, you know what? I was scared and I tried it. We went to go hike to see Jesus. And we didn't even get to see Jesus.
We sure didn't.
We didn't make it. And I thought I was going to be eaten by a mountain goat. A mountain lion.
Yeah, or a bear.
Or a bear.
Because we just didn't.
I had thorns from leaves in my butt. So, I tried it. It was a fear and I did it and I conquered it. Not quite.
But we did, in all fairness, though, the first 2 trails we took, we did complete those. It was Twins Falls and then Franklin Falls. We just didn't know that the Aspen Lake one was so far. But that was one, we would have had to really prepare for, and we was not prepared. Let me
tell you, we ran out of water. We ran out of water. We ran out of everything. We had no self-service, so we went live. You can go on our YouTube, Facebook, and you'll see the hike, and then it cuts off. So what is that? Oh, that looked like a spider. My bad. Anyway, that being said, thank you guys for listening. Please, like I said, if you want us to talk about other topics, hit us up, let us know. We're open to talking about other topics. Other than that, thank you for listening.
Peace.